Good evening. Welcome into Total Styles After Dark. This is a Total Styles Podcast Network production. I am Nate Wallen. You can find me on Twitter at Nate_Dirt19. I'm joined by my pal Abels, and you can find him on Twitter at MVINFF. How's it going, man?
Good. Finals, fantasy football finals for most leagues. We're at it, man. I can move this far into it, but we're at it.
It was a good week and a bad week for me. I had the league at Bar Pigs working together, and I got Amari Cooper, and then Debo shit the bed, so I lost by not even 10 points to go to the final, but I did make it to the Scott Fish Bowl final. So
nice,
because I had Amari Cooper, so I'm in 11th place out of the 50 that are left. I'm like 4.8 points off the lead. So
nice, that's huge.
We'll see what happens. So it'll be fun. Hopefully we'll get a little luck. That's all I need. Just some luck.
Yeah, that's you definitely need that down the stretch.
Yeah. So, but other than that, it was an eventful weekend. Christmas, it was fun. Did some traveling. And I know you were on the road quite a bit too. So, I know we were texting quite a bit during the Packers game.
Yeah.
We don't need to dwell on that. We'll talk about some stuff from that here in a little bit, but it's wild. It continues that way. But that Sunday night game, I don't know why I call it that. I guess it was Monday night. The Ravens-Niners game was wild. Not what anybody expected. I expected it to be closer than that. We didn't expect to see Purdy throw 4 interceptions. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, it was one of those where I was around relatives and stuff, and they were asking me what do you think? And I'm like, well, San Francisco, both these teams are really good. This could be a Super Bowl preview. Excuse me. But at the same time, I was like, if you were to think a blowout was going to happen in San Francisco, you thought it'd be flipped, but it wasn't. I mean, Purdy throwing 4 INTs didn't look that great. A couple of them got tipped and stuff like that, but that Ravens team is good. I know you've been really high on them all year. I've not been that sold on them. I think they have parts that they look good. I don't think that they have, they've been kind of keying in some running backs here and there, plug and play and stuff, and they don't really need that. Their wide receivers aren't very scary. Then Mark Andrews goes out, and it's just it was just never really appealing to me all year. Lamar Jackson's numbers are good. They're not they're not eye popping, but I've always thought they were really, really good in the AFC. And I mean, they looked awesome on Monday night. And I didn't get to see a whole lot of the game. I saw most of it the second half, but I saw bits and pieces of it in the first half. But it was crazy to look at my phone and see interception number 2, interception number 3, and I was like, oh shit. He just had a bad game. So there's nothing really you can do about it. He didn't play that great. So, and that happens.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. You've been here with me, hear me say I've been on Lamar for the MVP for 10 weeks now, probably longer than that. I know, I mean, at this point, every team's had their ups and downs, but if you look back through the weeks or whatever, when the Ravens play, whatever team it is, whether, more so playoff caliber teams that are in the driver's seat or, up at the top of the division, they have really taken it to some of them. I mean, obviously the Bengals game was kind of different because Burrow wasn't there. They beat them by 14. That game ended closer than it ever was against the Niners. I'm trying to look back. I had some stuff written down at work today, and of course I left the paper at work, so it didn't really help. I know they got beat by the Browns week 10, but like I said, everybody stumbled here and there. That was a weird game. I think it was a bunch of crappy weather. They beat the Seahawks 37-3 earlier this year, and the Seahawks are in the playoffs right now.
Right.
Lamar's also really good against the NFC. I think he's 20-1 now, 19-1 against the NFC.
I was going through when you're giving these stats out and stuff. I said Lamar doesn't have that. Their running backs have been kind of plug and play and here and there. Their wide receivers aren't that scary. I mean, Zay Flowers has had a good rookie season. And regardless, they have the best record in the NFL. So obviously Lamar should be in that MVP, top two. In my opinion, he's probably the leader right now, and you've been saying it for weeks. So
they did beat the Lions 38-6 as well.
I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Like I said, that's the thing. Like, I know they lost the Browns or whatever. Like, but they, like I said, the Seahawks, the Lions, there've been some other teams too. Like, they blew them out. Like, not like, oh, we won by 10. Like, they beat the fuck out of them. Like, it wasn't even close.
Right, right.
Like, I mean, how many weeks, have you seen where the Lions have scored 6 points or the Seahawks have scored 3 points? Like, not that, I mean, obviously the Lions offense is very, very good, but, I don't know. I think the Ravens are for real. I think they will take it to the Dolphins. The Dolphins are awesome. Their defense is great, but their offensive line is similar to me to the 49ers without Trent Williams. Trent Williams is really good at everything. The rest of that offensive line is not good. And they can do the play action pass, and what they're used to, they're great. But when it's a drop back pass game, they're fucked. Like, they just can't do it. And so the Ravens were able to pin their ears back and go. Jadeveon Clowney looked like when he was playing Michigan, fucking 10 years ago or whatever it was, the one tackle that made him millions. So I think that, that's kind of how the Dolphins offensive line is. I know they have, I always forget their left tackle's name because he never plays anyways.
Armstead, I think.
Yeah. The dude they paid that never plays,
yeah.
But like and I know they can score in bunches too in a hurry, but if they start to get down at all, like I said, that their offensive line's not that good either. And it's schemed to make them be better, which that's just good coaching, you know what I mean? And a good game plan. But that worries me for the Dolphins. I mean, I don't really care who wins the game, I guess. I'd rather it be the Ravens because me, being a Tua hater. So
yeah.
I haven't said anything bad about him for a long time.
You've kind of kept it under wraps.
I know.
So I agree with a lot of the stuff you're saying. And one thing that I did witness Baltimore doing a little bit Monday night, and the few times that I've seen them play, they've been on kind of primetime football last couple 3 out of 4 weeks or something. But the one thing I think they do is they disrupt timing. And when you're talking about like a Brock Purdy or a Tua or where you have electric, explosive wide receivers that can create separation, but at the same time, when they make a lot of their chunks, is Tua or Purdy is thrown to a spot before they're coming out of their break, before Tyreek's coming out of his break. I mean, we watched it quite a bit this past weekend with that, and that's all timing. And that defense is big enough and fast enough and quick enough and can cover. You have safeties that are playing cornerback right now for them. I mean, and making the cornerback spot look easy, and that's impressive out of a defense for Baltimore. So I think with Miami's obviously got some injuries. They're banged up a little bit. I think that they are Tua throws to spots like he kind of just relies on Tyreek to make his in cut, and Tyreek turns and the ball's on his chest. I mean, that's impressive, right? But if you have Baltimore and they're chipping on that, or they have safeties that are scooting down that that can play corner and can pick these things up, that's going to create some havoc. And I think Miami's going to struggle against that defense. And I don't think. I think Baltimore's defense is really good. I don't think it's like as dominant as what we saw like the Cowboys the first few weeks of the year. I mean, that was a pretty dominant defense. But I think what they do is I think they're going to scheme, and it's going to be a little bit tough for Miami to throw with some of those throws. And that's what you said. I mean, Miami likes to get the ball out quick. Tua doesn't hold it long, but at the same time, he's going to have to make some smarter reads because they're going to mess with that where the timing won't always be there.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be fun. I think that's probably what I'm looking forward to that game quite a bit. So
yeah.
Before we get too carried away like we have been, I need to get into the rest of my normal things.
Gotcha.
I was excited, talk about football.
Hey, let me think real quick.
Yeah, you're good. So you can find the show at Toilet's Titles. You can also find all of our content, articles, mock drafts, player rankings, everything we do over at toiletstyles.com. If you haven't checked out our website, please do so. It's just phenomenal. Since you're watching on YouTube right now, if you haven't hit the like and subscribe button, we would appreciate that if you would do that for us. And the last but not least, if you do want to interact with the team, we're talking everything from fantasy football, regular NFL, college football, everything now, getting ready for the draft. I know that's a little ways away, but we're still, it's time to start talking about prospects. So it's bowl season. We're talking about that. Getting ready to do some weekly mock drafts. That'll be here in a couple months. But holler at me or Abe or Coach Sheps. You can find him on Twitter at Coach Sheps. And we can get you in our Gilded Chat. You can also email the show at totaltitles@gmail.com, and we'll get you in the Gilded Chat. It's free. There's free gambling advice in there. Like I said, it's just everything. It's a lot of fun. So hit us up if you want to join that. Let's get a little more news before we get going. Russ Wilson got benched today. That was wild. I guess it's the Jarrett Stidham effect. When he's on the team as a backup, just like Derek Carr, they bench it before the last 2 games.
Yeah.
And they bring him in there to – I heard some dipshit on NFL radio today say, well, he looked pretty good against the 49ers last year. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, you act like that motherfucker's going to be the starter next year. No, he's not. Like,
yeah, I just don't understand why. Like, I don't.
Well, I think Sean Payton and him had a little bit of a blow up on the sidelines last weekend. And I don't know. I guess Payton just doesn't want him anymore. So he said, fuck it. Waste of money. That's like probably one of the worst trades ever. And they're going to get rid of him. Because if he gets hurt, then they have to pay him like $37 million or something in January or February.
Yeah. Yeah. So if last year when we started these podcasts, we were, kind of a different show last year when we started this, and everyone was like gung-ho on Russ and the Broncos. And I just said,
hate him forever.
Hate him. Like, and it's not like when he was with the Seahawks, when he was in his prime and throwing all those deep balls and, right in people's hands. I mean, like, he threw the prettiest deep ball for years in Seattle.
It was great. Tyler Lockett, Doug Baldwin, those were fucking awesome to watch.
And those balls, 50 yards in the air, like, height-wise. So he just threw such a great ball. And then, like, the last year before he got traded to Denver, especially the last few weeks, and even the Pro Bowl, like, watching him throw the ball, I'm like, dude, this is Cam Newton. Like, he can't throw the ball more than 6 yards. Like, what is he doing? His arm strength, for whatever reason, was lacking. Then he signed with Denver, and everyone's like, oh, here he comes. Denver's going to take over. The Chiefs are done. They lost Tyreek, all this stuff. Obviously, this is 2 years ago. And I just was never sold on him. This year, I was a little bit more sold on him. I'm like, he's got a good coach coming in. He's been in the system for a little bit. He's been with Judy and Sutton for a while. And he's been better. But I just don't think he trusts himself. And I don't think he trusts his wide receivers. Like, watching him play, he just sits there and pats the ball and pats the ball and pats the ball. I'm like, throw it. Just let it rip. I mean, you have 2 really, really good wide receivers, and he does not throw the ball. He especially doesn't throw it to Judy. And I don't get it. Like, it's just almost like he's one of those quarterbacks that's just like seeing ghosts out there, and he thinks there's 15, defensive backs, and he's afraid to throw it. And it's weird to me. And then when they went on that run, if you watched him, he was getting the ball out quick, and he was, when they went on that 4 or 5 game span that they, I think Green Bay started their run for him, after they give up 70 or whatever. And he looked good. Like, he not like great, not like old school Russ, but he looked good. Like, he was getting the ball out quick, he was decisive, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what clicked. And then I'm like, I was watching him, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I was watching him, I'm like, God, he's doing it again. Like, he can't decide where he wants to throw the ball. And I don't know if that's his own head. I don't know what it is, but they need. It's not like Stidham's going to be the guy. You're right. I don't get this. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're what they did. They did. I don't think they do anymore. But
the Patriots kind of hurt that. They have 6 draft picks next year, so good luck.
Oh man. They give the world for their quarterback and their coach, and it's not paying off. And you have, then they released, like, who was that linebacker they released? I can't think of his name. You have a stud and Sertan. Like, you got good players.
Dude, that Baron Browning's a stud. That kid they drafted from Oklahoma, I just forgot his name. That Benito kid. Like, they got some fucking dudes on fucking defense.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But,
and they give up 70 earlier.
Yeah, forgot about that. Well, all right, Broncos country, right? Let's ride the bench. So,
yeah, let's ride to the bench.
Yeah. So, next topic, near and dear to Abe and I's heart. Jair Alexander got suspended today for a game because conduct detrimental to the team because he went out for the coin toss and wasn't supposed to. And apparently almost messed the coin toss up because there's some verbiage in there that I didn't know about. I just figured you just said, fuck it, that's what we want to do. But apparently that's not the case. So they suspended him for a game, another must-win game for us. And, Justin Jefferson's there. And, of course, I think it's because LaFuck and Barry want Nick Mullins or whoever the fuck's under center to throw for like 480 and 4 touchdowns.
I mean, that's been the theme the last 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Make-A-Wish quarterbacks going out there and just beating the shit out of us. Like, yeah. I mean, these guys are – you're talking about – I think I texted you this the other day. We're talking about 3 quarterbacks in a row, DeVito, Baker, Bryce Young, that have had their best – now Bryce Young has only been in the league, obviously, this year – have had their best single games 3 straight weeks all against Green Bay's defense. Yeah. Like, I mean, there's no doubt about it. Baker's never had a better game.
Baker, nobody in the history of Lambeau Field has ever had a perfect passer rating as a visiting quarterback until fucking Baker did last 2 weeks ago. It was fucking wild.
It's fucking terrible. And then you see this and you're just like, you see the stuff with Jair, and I get it. I mean, like, you gotta discipline people. To suspend him for a game for that, I think that's too far.
The thing that fucking pisses me off is LaFuck didn't do it. Gutekunst had to do it because LaFuck can't do it. He can't make a fucking decision. Like I've said for fucking 3 years.
Yeah.
He can't make a fucking decision. Or not. I mean, he doesn't. He's like he's scared of confrontation. That's why Joe Barry's still fucking here. That's why Mario fucking Rodgers returned a kick for fucking 8 fucking times with fumbling the goddamn ball because LaFuck won't say something.
Right. I agree. And that's just the way he is. He's just he's a bitch. I mean, that's all there is to it. He's
worried about his fucking haircut and his eyebrows.
You're not wrong. I don't know. I don't think it's worth a game suspension. I think, me personally, when I think everyone in the Packers organization, all Packers fans, I think people would say Jair, when healthy, is probably our best player on the team. For sure, the defense, and I think it's kind of shitty that he wasn't the captain in his home city. It's not like Green Bay plays in Carolina often. Yeah. I think that's what a lot of coaches try doing, is making that happen. I thought it was very odd. I didn't know he was from Carolina until they were saying it during the game. I thought it was very odd that wasn't the case, and I think that Jair was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go out here with the captains. This is my city. Like, I just want to go out. What's it hurt? And it's not like, I mean, it's almost like or is it one of those things where, like, if we leave this up to LaFleur and Barry, they're going to fuck it up. So I just need to do it on my own. Like, and then he almost screwed it up apparently also from everything he said. But
the thing it makes you think of is like, like when something happens in college and somebody does something wrong and the college is like, hey, we got to get out in front of this and like do something so we don't get like these sanctions from the NCAA. It's like, this is the fucking NFL. That doesn't fucking happen. Just fucking find the guy fucking $10,000 and fucking move on.
Right.
This is so fucking dumb. Like, whatever, dude. I get it. Like I said, I do get it. You got it. It's about the team, not me, but like, it's sorry, LaFuck. It's your fault that the defense fucking hates Joe Barry because he sucks. Like, it is a complete fucking dipshit. So I don't know what you expect out of these guys. Like, they're fucking giving it their all, but like they have to run the plays he fucking calls. So, Jair didn't look that great last week, but
I think that might have been the reason why he got suspended. I mean, his post-game speech was at his locker. They were getting interviewed, and he goes, and someone said, "Are you nervous about giving up 30 points to a team that
hadn't scored 17 all fucking year?"
Yeah, I mean, they haven't scored a touchdown since December 3rd. Yeah. Like, December 3rd. It was December 24th. And he was, does that bother you? He's like, well, yeah, it bothers me. He's like, yeah, but we gotta play the calls. The calls are being played, are being called. Yeah. And that's a shot. That's a shot at Joe Barry. It wasn't direct. It was more of an indirect shot. And I think that Goody and LaFleur don't like that because for whatever reason, Joe Barry has something on these guys. I don't know what, but he's fucking awful. I mean, he's just been getting torched the last 3 weeks, and he's still their guy. I don't get it.
He's never been good. He's never had a good defense.
Never been good. Never. And I agree. I mean, but yeah, everywhere else they at least fire him after a year or two, and in Green Bay he doesn't get fired. Like it's just
conduct detrimental to the fucking team. That dumb fuck.
And everyone's like, well, we don't want that. We don't want those type of players on there. I'm going to tell you right now, you want your cornerbacks and your quarterbacks and your wide receivers to have some cockiness.
Yeah,
you want some swagger.
Best in the fucking league.
Yeah, and if you think like, oh well, I don't want this shit because it's not good for the team. Yeah, fuck is. Like, look at all the great ones. A lot of the great ones have a ton of swag, and they talk shit. And guess what? It's okay. You back it up. Go ahead and do it.
Yep,
it's okay.
Yeah. Moving on to T.J. Hawkinson, torn ACL and MCL. He's done for the year. I guess that helps Packers. Kind of sucks. Like I said, he's fun to watch. And I did say Addison, is he going to be out too?
I don't know. I haven't heard yet.
So
I don't know.
They definitely have some injuries. They don't know who's starting a quarterback, but Hawkinson's done for the year. That's tough on some fantasy championships, I'm sure. So
yes,
I'm sure there's quite a few rosters with him in there. So I think moving on fantasy favorites. I don't have much. There's some other news, but we can kind of go on. So I don't know if that's low hanging fruit or not after last week. And I guess I got Dak against the Lions. Dak played really well against the Dolphins. So, their defense can't stop the run. I'm not scared to say that. I know Dallas fans get mad about that, but it's true. They're horrible against the run. So I think Dak will have a good game. The Lions defense is not that good. It's better than it has been, but I think, the Cowboys are at home. They're really good at home. I look for Dak to have a pretty big day to kind of shut everybody up. I mean, I know his numbers have been MVP numbers, but I don't know where his odds are right now, to be honest, because I haven't really looked. But I like for Dak to have a big day. Hopefully I didn't jinx myself for Scott Fishbowl saying that, but I think it'll happen.
Yeah, I like that also. And typically, I mean, the Lions aren't used to what they just really celebrated last week. So typically, I mean, you see teams sometimes, like if they're coming off a huge high, that tend to come out a little bit flat the next week. They don't have as much to play for as what Dak does. So I like that play a lot. My quarterback is Brock Purdy. We're talking about a guy that really had a really shitty week. Did not look good. Had some tip balls like I mentioned earlier, but just didn't play with it. I mean, there's no better team to go play against the next week than the Washington Commanders. So I think he has a get back game, get right game. So I like Purdy to have a good week this week.
Hell yeah, same here. It'll be business as usual for the Niners. They'll win by 30. I like Kyren Williams against the New York Giants. I think the Rams are going to go in there and take care of business. The Rams have been playing very, very good football. Took the Ravens to overtime, lost by 6 or something like that. They're good, look really good, really healthy too. So, and Kyron's been great. And I think the Giants, they're not.
Yeah, I mean, Kyron's definitely their MVP of their team. They've had Nakua's look great. Cooper Kupp's there. Stafford's there. Their defense has picked it up. But Kyron is their MVP. I mean, when he gets the ball, when he totes the ball, when he plays, this team is way better. We faced the Rams at the absolute best time possible with no Kyron, no Stafford. Yeah. And at that point in time, they looked like the worst team in football.
Yep.
And now they have, this is the NFL, guys. They turn around and they look excellent. They can make a run in the NFC. I mean, they are that good.
So if the Rams make the playoffs and the Packers don't, which that's what I think is going to happen. I want the Rams to go to Detroit and Stafford beat the fucking Lions. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I don't want my Ravens that I'm cheering for to lose, but if Joe Flacco went to Baltimore with the Browns and beat the Ravens, man, that'd be fucking hilarious.
I mean, those would be some pretty nice storylines for the NFL. My running back, you alluded to this earlier. Dallas Cowboy fans don't like to admit this, but they get beat on the run. So my running back is Jahmyr Gibbs. This guy, he shoots. I mean, he shoots through that gap so damn fast, and he's good. He catches the ball in the backfield well. I like him. I think he's going to have a good game against Dallas. You get on that turf where you're just quicker. I think he's played in that stadium a few times for some college championships. So I don't think that that really kind of takes place. Takes into effect for a rookie. But I like Gibbs. I like Gibbs against Dallas this weekend. He looks great.
Yes. I got Devonta Smith against the Cardinals at home. I think he's kind of Mr. Steady Eddie. AJ Brown's awesome. They're both amazing, but I like for Devonta Smith to have another solid game. Somewhere 80 to 100 yards and a touchdown, something like that. So,
yeah, Devonta Smith was really struggling at the beginning of the year until Goddard went out, and it's like when Goddard doesn't play, Devonta Smith always picks it up, right? So when Goddard came back, I'm like, well, I think his production might fall off a little bit, and it hasn't. He's looked really steady. He's been really good. He always starts off super hot in the game. So I like that. And again, anyone against the Cardinals is awfully impressive. So I like that play. My wide receiver play is Cooper Kupp against the New York Giants, specifically against Flott in the slot. I talked about it before. Green Bay never took advantage of it. A couple other teams never took advantage of it. This is why the Rams are playing as good as they are, because they take advantage of great mismatches, and Cooper Kupp has a huge mismatch this week. So is Nakua, actually. Against I think maybe Adoree Jackson, I want to say, but both those guys have great matchups this week. Great schemes. So I think that the Rams go in and dominate. I like Cooper Kupp a lot at the wide receiver position this week.
Oh yeah, I like Isaiah Likely for the Ravens against the Dolphins. He's looked really good. I don't know. They'll probably have Ramsey try to run with him a little bit, but he's just so goddamn big, and God, he's fucking awesome. And Lamar can just perfect right to him. And because I don't know who else. It's going to be Nelson Aguilar. Zay Flowers has been phenomenal, and he's great too. But I think Likely has another big game, to help the Ravens.
Yep. Yeah, I like that too. My tight end is David Njoku.
Yeah, Flacco.
What this guy has been lighting up. I put down here his last 4 games. 3 games is what it is. It's what it should be. He's averaged 7 catches for 80 yards. 4 touchdowns and 31 targets in his last 3 games.
So how the fuck's Amari Cooper go for 250 yards when fucking Njoku's getting 31 targets? And that's like what, 10 targets a fucking game to your tight end? Like, that's wild.
And let's not even talk about their previous 2 games were in shitty weather monsoon games, like terrible games, like terrible weather games. So, Njoku's been, Flacco's guy, him, and I guess both of them last week. But I like Njoku against the Jets. Obviously, the Jets are really good on the outside. They give up some to the middle of the field where Njoku kind of thrives. So I like Njoku against the Jets.
I need another big Amari Cooper week for Scott Fishbowl. So, at least maybe a touchdown. That'd be nice. DFS lineup. I don't know. There's some stuff I like. The pricing seemed very weird. Like a lot of guys like in the same tier almost. You know what I mean? Like there didn't seem like there was much of a drop off. It was just like when the drop off came, it was like, oh, these guys don't even play. So. I like Stafford at quarterback. I think they torched the Giants. He's been phenomenal. They're keeping him clean, and that's what he needs. He's awesome. Running back, I like Zeke. I don't know why. He's the only guy. I think they're going to run the ball a lot. Zappy, I looked pretty good, I guess, last weekend, or Thursday. But I think Zeke will be able to run the ball a little bit against the Bills, and Belichick's going to want to do everything he can to keep them off the field, and that's running the football. So I think Zeke, if he, maybe not, he's not going to average a lot, or he may not score a touchdown, but I think he's going to get fucking 25 carries. So he should, anyways. Other one, I like Jalen Warren. The Seahawks have been not good against the run. I don't know what running back's going to get the ball. I just picked Jalen Warren because I think he's the one that should get the ball, but that really doesn't matter. But I think they'll both have a pretty good run against Seahawks. So Wide receiver, I like Ayuk as one of my guys. He was the only guy they were throwing to last weekend, which was just crushing my dreams. But there, like I said, I think you could pick fucking Juwan Johnson if you're Juwan Jennings if you wanted to, and be fine with the 49ers receiver this week. Next guy, Mike Evans. I know he plays terrible against the Saints, always is bad, blah, blah, blah. Well, fucking Marshawn Lattimore's on IR. That's the reason Mike Evans struggles against the Saints. He's not there this weekend. Mike Evans is going to go for 180 and a touchdown because he's the fucking Hall of Famer. Next guy, George Pickens. Monster week last week on my bench. Would have fucking won me the league or got me the championship, but that's okay. That's how it goes. I think Mason Rudolph got a little connection because Mason Rudolph throws a really good deep ball, something that the other guys in Pittsburgh can't do. Quarterback. Tight end, my guy Dutch Schultz. I don't know who's playing quarterback for the Texans. They said Stroud might be out of protocol. I don't know.
Just a little bit today on the field, so he must have passed stage 1 finally.
Well, I don't even know if he's still going to play or not, but regardless, Dutch Schultz, he's the probably best receiver at the current, at the moment. So my flex, this was like out of money. Kenny Gainwell, he looked pretty good last week. Toting the rock. They're playing the Cardinals. I don't think they're going to keep Swift in the whole time. You know what I mean? So I think Gainwell maybe have a solid game. Maybe not, but I'll take that chance at my flex. So, and defense, call me crazy. Give me the Patriots defense. I know the fucking Bills are awesome right now, but so is Patriots defense. So I like them. They're cheap.
I like that.
Somewhere.
I especially like Ayuk and Evans. Those first two running backs are wide receivers yours.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Man, but they have really, really tasty matchups. So my lineup is Purdy at quarterback, Ty Chandler running the ball against Green Bay. We did stop Chuba Hubbard last week, I guess, for the most part. I think we held it.
We were letting Bryce Young flourish.
But yeah, I guess when you let Bryce Young throw it all over the yard, then you can do that. But I also have Zeke as a running back. Like you said, I think he gets at least 25 touches. If you're playing a PPR format, he probably catches at least 6 footballs this weekend. So I really like that a lot. My wide receivers are Jerry Jeudy. You may have Jared Stidham go out there and look for Jeudy because Russ Wilson is not all, at all. In my opinion, I still think Jerry Jeudy is a great route runner and has never, ever been, the recipient because of that. So I like Jeudy this week, and that's just kind of on a whim, on a fly, nothing else, anything else to back it up. Just one of those things where they get, I think they want to spark. Cortland Sutton's been a huge spark because he makes phenomenal catches week after week. But it's like, hey, we need to get this other wide receiver involved also. So that's why I play Jerry Jeudy. And my other wide receiver, Jaden Reed, he's got a nice matchup in the slot this week against Minnesota. He had a week off. It sounds like he was at practice today. They try getting him as many touches as possible up in Green Bay. So I like that play a lot. Cooper Kupp, like I mentioned earlier, he's got a phenomenal matchup in the slot against the Giants. My tight end is Josh Oliver. If you don't know who that is the backup tight end for the Vikings. They play the Green Bay Packers this week, and Green Bay decides not to defend the middle of the field. They just, hey, we don't throw the ball in the middle of the field on offense, so we don't need to defend it on defense is their thought process for some fucking stupid reason.
If we don't do it, they can't either.
That's right, yeah. So last week when I was watching the game, I mean, the middle of the field is just absolutely wide open. And that's where tight ends feast. So we're extremely lucky that Hawkinson's not playing this weekend, but that means that Josh Oliver might be a plug and play and get a couple catches. I think he had a catch for like 30-some yards after Hawkinson went out last week. So he's an athletic tight end that's, that could have a decent week and get, 3 times his salary. So I like him a lot. My flex is Debo. If Debo is healthy enough to play, I think he goes in and really puts up a statement after last week as well. And my defense is the Broncos. They play against Easton Stick again, so I think that's a nice defense to have. So that's my lineup: Purdy, Chandler, Zeke, Jerry Jeudy, Jaden Reed, Cooper Kupp, Josh Oliver, Debo, and the Broncos D.
Yeah, I like it for sure. lost that. Before we go on, I do want to talk about our Patreon real quick. Patreon.com/titles. Check it out if you want. There's like 6 different tiers. We got doing giveaways all the time. Gift cards, Yeti cups, Yeti coolers, things like that. Check it out. You got any questions, you can hit us up. Like I said, the email, toadstyles@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Twitter too, and we'll give you some more info. Before I forget to, I believe the tweet got sent out today for our playoff league that we do every year. I actually forget how much money it was. That's awesome. Sorry, drawing a blank. Anyways, I believe it's $10.
I think that's what it was last year.
Yeah. So, you pick your starting lineup. You can only use a guy once. So you got to kind of be careful as the playoffs go. But we're trying to get everything set up now. Hopefully we're having like quite a few people. And I can't remember what it was last year. There was a lot of people in last year, 80 to 100 last year, I think. Something like that. So it's a lot of fun. It's probably one of my favorite leagues actually that we do. Not just us, but like the playoff leagues are a lot of fun. So if you're interested in that, hit us up and we will get you the information and get you all hooked up with it. So moving on to our favorite lines of the week. My first one is, I usually don't pick Thursday night games, but I got to get my Joe Flacco talk in. So give me the Browns, 7.5 points. Got the Jets coming to town. The Jets are not good. I know their defense has played pretty well sometimes, but sometimes they're not very good. And Joe Flacco, it's kind of Joe Flacco revenge game. I look for him to have a big day.
Yeah, I mean, he called the Jets when Rodgers went down. Like, Flacco called the Jets. Rumors have it that he called the Jets and the Jets weren't interested. Like, he's going to go in there.
Let me one other thing. What the fuck were the Vikings thinking not calling Joe Flacco? He's like he's like a better Kirk Cousins. Well, he used to be. Like, they're not going to run. They'll run if they have to, but just got a good arm, accurate. Like, that's what the Vikings should have done. But they're not the only team. Like, there's plenty of teams that should have been like, hey, maybe we should call fuck Joe Flacco. Like, he didn't look that terrible last year. I mean, no,
he looked really good, especially against the Browns. That's probably why the Browns are like, hey, let's give this dude a shot. Like, he lit us up last year. So
he looked better than any quarterback they've had all year. And I mean, I don't know who's going to start for him next year. I guess it has to be Watson because of the money, but Watson's looked like dog shit.
I mean, if you really think about it, like, he's been, what, is this his 4th week or 5th? I don't know. But
Merry Christmas to you as well, Joe. Happy New Year.
He's been awesome. Like, and once again, in shitty weather, like coming off a couch, 30 in his, mid to late 30s. I don't know how old he is exactly, but he's been really damn good. Like, really good. Like, you got to give credit to this guy. There, and the one spot that the NFL has really had a hard time with this year is quarterbacks. I mean, quarterback play is not good. I mean, when you have, the end-all be-all Patrick Mahomes, people are calling last week with questions saying, hey, should I start, Joe Flacco or Patrick Mahomes? You're thinking, if you would have said this at draft weekend, I would have said, you can't draft, you're too drunk. What the hell are you talking about? Yeah. And here we are doing this shit. Like, yeah. It's just one of those things that's it's crazy. It's the NFL. It's very crazy. And that's why I tell people all the time, like, week 1, people are like, oh my God, like, it's over. This person doesn't look good and stuff. I'm like, it's a long season. Like, we saw the Rams when they were really, really shitty. The Rams look absolutely, Rams, in my opinion right now, look like a top 6 team in the NFL. So when we played them, I think they're a bottom 2 team. It's just the way the NFL works. We saw this where, Green Bay had 2 or 3 really good games in a row where they played awesome. And, then we see them struggle against some teams that they should easily beat. But it's part of it. I get it. But I love the Browns, everything about them. I was not a believer in this team either this year. I was a believer in their defense, but I'm like, the Cleveland Browns will do Cleveland Browns things. And Joe Flacco has come in and said, no, we're not going to do that. We're gonna actually air the ball out. Let's not forget.
Slinging it, dude. Just fucking slinging it.
Slinging it. Let's not forget. They don't have Nick Chubb. Like,
hey, happy birthday, Nick Chubb. Today's his birthday.
Today's his birthday, ladies.
Yeah, if you're listening, Nick, happy birthday. I'm your biggest fan.
They're doing this. They're doing this with backup running backs. They're doing this with, I mean, it is incredible what they're doing. So, kudos to them. I hope they win tomorrow night also. They're making a run at it. Flacco has been a fun story, so I like that play. My first top bet that I like is Rams -5.5 against the Giants. Giants keep going back and forth on their quarterbacks. DeVito, hey, you're done. Thanks for playing. It was a fun little ride. We got on primetime quite a few games because that's what we do. And now it's Tyrod Taylor, back to him. So we need as Packers fans, we need the Rams to lose. That's not going to happen in the Giants with Tyrod Taylor. So I like the Rams -5.5. I thought the spread would be around 8.5 or 9.
Yeah, I like Cowboys -6 at home. Lions, we talked about it earlier. I think the Cowboys, they got a lot to play for. And after losing last week, I think their defense will be better. They're going to try to have their defense better anyways. I don't know if they're going to be able to do much, but I think the Cowboys will be too much for the Lions, especially after clinching the division in the first time in 30 fucking years. Good job, guys. It's about time.
Yeah. I mean, odds are you're going to win at some point, right? So
yeah, I'm 4 years old, so proud of you.
My second NFL pick that I like is the Texans -4.5. I don't know if I would have played this if I didn't see that Stroud practice today, but I saw that he practiced. He was out on the field. They have two really juicy matchups on the outside with Noah Brown and Nico Collins. So I like those quite a bit. The Titans secondary has been really reeling, been banged up. So I like the Texans -4.5. Once again, a team that you don't really think about it, but they are tied for the division, right? Or are they a game back?
They might be a game back now. I don't remember.
Hold on, let me look.
I'm trying to think what it is, but my last one, I like the
Jaguars, Colts, and Texans, all 8-7.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah. I like the Ravens -3.5 with the Dolphins coming to town. Dolphins big win. Obviously, this is, like number one AFC seed implications in this game. Probably could be an AFC title game, but I just think the Ravens will be too much at home for the Dolphins. I was hoping it'd be some bad weather because then it'd be even easier, but it's supposed to be like 50. So I just look for Lamar to have another stellar performance to, solidify his MVP. I said it's either him or Tyreek, or McCaffrey, I guess, but it's just hard not to give it to Lamar at this point. So I like the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, both those teams are coming off huge wins last week. So it'll be interesting to see how they both react to that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think Miami's got too many injuries. I think Baltimore's got too many positives rolling right now. I like that also. My last one is the Vikings at home against Green Bay. Vikings are -1.5 or -2, whatever book you look at. Matt LaFleur can't win big games. He can't do it. He's a bitch. I just don't, and never seeing Jordan Love in this type of scenario. I don't think they can do it. So they have to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. I don't see them going into Minnesota and doing that. Now I also didn't even dream that they would go into Detroit and do that on Thanksgiving, but they did. So this one has a little bit more power to it, just because they're 2 games away and need one, Seattle or the Rams to lose once to get in the playoffs. So I just don't think they can do it. I don't think that, especially now Jair is suspended and he's not playing. I mean, what I messaged you today, I said it doesn't matter because Preston Smith is going to be on Justin Jefferson anyways, because that's what our defense coordinator likes to do. So, I don't think Preston Smith can defend Justin Jefferson. So, and that's probably where we're going to line up on defense. So, I think the Vikings. Vikings don't even know who they're going to have quarterback, and I think that their coach already has an advantage over ours. So,
I think Joe Barry thinks it's still Dante Culpepper under center for the Vikings. That's what
he doesn't have fun too. So, but we've seen that the last 3 weeks. So, so I have Vikings -1.5. I hope I'm wrong on that one, but I don't have high hopes for this game. So,
yep, same here. It sucks, but just the way it is. So, well, that's all we got for this week. Rich, we missed you. He's working somewhere else. He's not at home right now working. He's like working the second or third shift, like training some people. So he's like, I wouldn't be done till at least midnight. So, and I can't stay up that late. I'm tired.
Yeah.
So,
it's for us, old man. We've been driving way too much lately. So
yeah, no shit. So thanks for tuning in. Good luck in your fantasy championships. Good luck to all the gambling you're doing. Hopefully you're going to do well. Get on the playoff league. It'll be fun. We'll be back next week. Check out the website, 12styles.com. Check out our Twitter. Like and subscribe on YouTube if you're not. I know Coach started the On the Clock show. I know there was an episode tonight. I don't know if that was the first episode or last week was, but it's talking all draft prospects and things like that. Tune into it. He's got a ton of good guests on there. So check it out. And we'll see you all next week. What was that?
Get together, chat.
Yeah, it's fun. So
yes.
hop in. So we'll see y'all next week. Good luck and good gambling.